Teaching in Japan is a dream for many people, including me. But your salary, your work, the kind of job, the kind of institution that hires you plays a huge part in your peace, joy, happiness, and every other word combined when you come to Japan. So in this video, I'm going to share the key difference between a direct hire by the Board of Education and a university hire. Honestly, what I'm talking about in this video, nobody told me about when I came to Japan. I found out on my own, and because I'm doing this channel to share, I'll go right direct into the point. I'll be comparing the two of them, and at the end, I'll give you what I know about international schools. You'd want to hear that too. All right, let's start with the direct hire. What is direct hire? As the word says, direct hire. This is actually a unique system where certain cities in Japan have what we call the education board or board of education, and they decide that they want to hire specific teachers to teach in their system. I don't know the details exactly of how the work structure is organized, but this one is not exactly like teaching in a public school where you have to go as an ALT, assistant language teacher. Now, let me specify some of the differences. As much as I know is you are required to have a bachelor degree. That's the key requirement. You must have it. It's a must. Secondly, you definitely have to be coming from an English-speaking country. And the third one is the BOE expects you to do a lot of conversational activities. I'm not sure if you have to move around every school or you have a specific assigned school, but I know that you must prove that you are going to be willing to teach. So it's not a job that requires you to stay in an office. No, you'll be going out to schools and teaching. All right. For what I know and I've heard from my friends who have had these direct hire positions, they were ALTs before. So the Board of Education prioritizes people who have been teachers and have spent at least a year or two in Japan. I also heard that your Japanese language will affect your hiring process, that they really want someone who is able to communicate in Japanese, not necessarily to teach in the classrooms, but for communication at work, because your colleagues will all be Japanese at the city office. All right, now let's talk about the roles. You will be expected to co-teach with other Japanese teachers. So it's quite similar to the ALT role. You're not managing everything on your own. No, you're working in a team for the classes. And equally, you might be involved in managing the maintenance of lunch, other activities around the school. Direct hire teachers are expected to go to many schools. You might be assigned to 4 or 5 schools actually. The Japanese system is funny because you will have to work in more than one school in many cases. However, in some cases, you can be sent to one school. Like me this year, I am working for just one high school. So it changes. You might never know exactly where you will be sent when you're hired. And they typically inform teachers towards the beginning of the school year. Oh yeah. The good part about this is you do not have a lot of work pressure to make lesson plans. Again, that is a subjective comment. Why? Because in some schools, the Japanese English teachers, we call them JTEs, Japanese teachers of English, might not be able to speak very good English. So you have the responsibility to teach them and teach the students. It's a group work. For that, I'll make a lot of videos in the future to give details of how classroom lessons are structured. Believe me, you have to know this before you come to Japan. Otherwise, you might be so shocked, frustrated, confused, and hurt. Okay, let me go back to direct hire. Now let's talk about compensation, because everyone wants to come here partly because of money. The good thing I've heard about working as a direct hire is because it's part of the city government, you're paid directly, not through a dispatch company like an ALT. Because for dispatch companies, the Board of Education gives the money, but they choose how much they want to give you. However, for direct hire, the Board of Education pays you directly. So from what I have heard, the salary is huge. In many cases, I have heard of 280,000 to even 350,000, and they have bonuses based on how you work. And also, I hear that they pay for all of your insurances. For me, that is good. That is an upgrade regarding the ALT level. That's a huge upgrade. So that equally means that getting direct hire jobs is very, very competitive. Applications are done 1 year in advance. Can you imagine how serious that is? And it is a very stable job. There are guarantees for you to work for more than a year. Unlike ALT companies that your life is guaranteed only for 1 year. You have no idea what will happen next year, because if that dispatch company loses the job in that city, if they lose the contract, in that city, you don't get a job as well. But for Board of Education, they never lose their job. So there is some level of stability if you work directly by the Board of Education. All right, I'll leave more details about Board of Education direct hire on my website, so please check that. Now let's go quickly to the university hire. In this case, of course, university is high level, right? And there are a lot of expectations of what you have to do. Let me start first from the qualifications and the requirements. I honestly didn't know about this, but that's why I'm sharing now. So if you want to make a decision, instead of going for an ALT, you could consider a university position. Okay, in the university, you can be hired to teach English. Yes, you can. I have heard, again, I'm not judging, but I have heard that it's mostly been Western countries. I have never heard of an African teaching at a university. I've not heard. It might be possible, but I don't know. So first thing is you have to prove that you have a master's degree, because it's high level. And if you have a PhD, especially in education, your chances are even more higher. Now, the second part is you have to show proof that you've done academic research. Yes, the Japanese system is very strict about prior research publications. As an advanced educator, yeah, you have to show proof of something you've done academically, right? Peer review articles, all of that will mean a whole lot to them. It doesn't necessarily have to be in Japanese, but it just shows that you have done prior studies and you're able to teach, at least in their perspective. The third one is, I heard, again, I'm not sure about this part, that you need to have some basic level of Japanese, like N1, so that you can easily communicate with your colleagues at the school. I know for a fact that it's not an obligation, but if you know it, that would definitely add to more points why you could be hired. This video is emphasizing more about teaching English, but I will speak quickly about my own experience. I applied to one big university, I will not call the name for privacy reasons here, to teach English and African studies, and they requested these same things I'm telling you. However, there was one strange requirement. Not strange, but strange. They asked me to submit recommendation letters from 2 Japanese professors who have been university professors. How do I get that kind of a requirement? How? I don't know any Japanese professor. I just came to Japan. How will I be able to get a recommendation letter from them? So I was unable to fulfill that requirement, and I think that's why I lost the job. I don't know if they ask that for every job, but if you know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody, that will be a positive thing for you. Just dropping that there so you can consider. All right, now let's go to and the structure of how your lessons are going to be, the roles, what you expected to do at the university. Because the university role is considered advanced, you are responsible for your lesson structure alone. I heard that they give you a curriculum, of course. They have a structure of what you're expected to do. However, your planning, your lesson structure in the classroom, your implementation methods are all your business. So they grant you autonomy on how to structure your work. For me, I like that. Not like I don't like the ALT where you have to work with a Japanese teacher, but I just think this one makes you really use your capacity as an educator, and you have the freedom to practice and use activities that are, in my opinion, very realistic for the children or the students. All right, again, one more thing about this one is you will also have a lot of responsibility with marking. You are in charge of administrative management. You might have to do counseling, and the load of the work is definitely higher than an ALT role. I heard that you would have an office, and in some cases, even if you share an office, they will provide you with a lot of benefits. They even assist with housing. Hey! Whew. Especially if you work for a government university, they provide everything. As in, everything. It is, in my opinion, one of the most stable kind of jobs you can have in Japan. The salary, of course, is above 300,000 yen. I have to pause there because that is good money. I mean, when you're comparing it to an ALT salary, you will be able to have a lot of bonuses. And I know from the research and my experience is you have 5 years of work stability. They provide all that you need, even a campus apartment to make your life very easy. Amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. But of course, what does that mean? Those kind of jobs are extremely competitive. Yeah, it doesn't just come by easily. You have to earn it. How? I don't know. But then, for the sake of being fair, I'm going to mention that I have equally seen part-time university teaching positions. What does that mean, Sarah? It means they have just a couple of hours within specific days that you can teach. From the research I did, most of them will give 4,000 yen for 1 hour. That's still good money. 99% of AOT companies will pay you 1,600 or 1,700 for an hour. So 4,000 for 1 hour is very, very good money. But the point is, you will not be able to take care of yourself only with that, because they don't support for your social insurance in that case. They will not sponsor your visa. You need to have a visa and another job before you can do that. It is possible if you plan to have several part-time jobs. That way, go for it. I really wanted to go for it, but I just couldn't find another part-time job. So that's something I recommend you consider. I am still looking forward to trying that, mainly just to get the international experience of working at a university. So something you should really think about. All right, as I promised, at the end, I'm going to talk quickly about teaching at an international school. There are several international schools in Japan, and they are private international schools, as the name goes. So these schools are completely different from the ALT public schools and university structures. Why? Because they choose their entire structure. What do I mean by that? It means for some schools, they decide that they want to use the British style of teaching. Other schools choose to use the American style of teaching. So the requirements for their hiring process is also very different and competitive. I'll give some of the ones that I know, and I'll elaborate more on my website. So please make sure you check Psalms of Sarah later to read more. The very first thing I know is they will insist to see your bachelor's degree. That is almost foundational in Japan. The second thing is they would want to know if you've ever taught before. These ones, from what I heard, they are insisting to have teachers who have experience. I have never heard of an international school hiring someone who has never had an experience, especially not in Japan. Like, I've never heard that. They are very particular about you having experience working in Japan and knowing how things are done. Thirdly, they would probably ask for a teaching license. ALT companies will ask you if you have a TELF certificate. What is a TELF? Teaching English as a foreign language online certificate or in-class certificate. They can consider you for that. However, I hear that for international schools, they can consider that as well, the TELF certificate, but they will insist in most cases if you have a private national teaching certificate, which confirms that you are a teacher. That's quite different from just a TELF certificate. So you are a seasoned educator. That's the kind of teachers they are looking for. And if you have had experience, for example, with the Cambridge educational system, definitely as a Brit, for example, your job is almost guaranteed in that case. And for the salaries, I hear they also pay like 350, even 400,000, depending on the size of the school. But the workload is also there because you become the sole teacher of your class. It's not like the ALT or the other jobs where you are assistant language teacher, so the Japanese language teacher chooses whether you do something or not. In this case, you are completely responsible for everything you do. So they will just give you the curriculum, but you structure how your lessons are taught, when, what time. And that requires you to do stuff like PE. You might have to do that. Oh, yeah. And the teachers, you will definitely have a Japanese assistant a teacher, but the structure of every activity is determined by you. I hear you even have to be in charge of disciplining the students because you are the major teacher. In my future videos, I'm going to explain more what is called T1 and T2, teacher 1, teacher 2. That's a whole concept. Believe me, you will need to know that before you come to Japan. Otherwise, you will be stressed. Okay, now let me end this video with the main part about international teachers. You have stability because the workload, the schools want you to stay for a longer time, so they provide a lot of facilities to make sure your life is good. If any of these points have been helpful to you, and I know they have, let me know in the comment sections if you have more questions. And like I said, I'll elaborate more on my website. Thank you so much for watching and happy teaching. Let me know if you have any comments in the comment section.